Commander Lyra Davidson stood at the observation deck of the Helios space station, her dark eyes fixed on the endless expanse of stars before her. 20 years of space service hadn't dulled her wonder at the cosmic vista, but something felt different today. The usual background radiation patterns had shifted, creating an almost imperceptible hum through the station's quantum sensors. "Commander," Dr. Thomas Wells' voice carried across the deck, his footsteps echoing against the reinforced metal floor. "The quantum array is picking up something unusual." The chief scientist's typically composed demeanor showed cracks of excitement or perhaps concern. Lyra turned from the window, her movement deliberate and measured. "Define unusual, Doctor." Wells projected a holographic display between them, showing wave patterns that pulsed and shifted like living mathematics. "It's a signal, but unlike anything we've recorded. It's not coming from any known source, and it appears to be evolving." The quantum display shifted again, its patterns becoming more complex with each passing moment. Lyra had seen countless space phenomena during her career, but this was different. The signal wasn't just traveling through space, it seemed to be interacting with it. "Station control to Commander Davidson." The comm system crackled to life. "We're detecting quantum fluctuations across all sectors. The signal strength is increasing." Before Lyra could respond, the holographic display erupted with new data streams. The signal patterns were no longer just evolving. They were replicating, creating complex mathematical fractals that seemed to reach towards something just beyond human understanding. "Dr. Wells," Lyra's voice remained steady despite the growing tension. "Could this be artificial?" "If it is, Commander, we're dealing with technology far beyond our current understanding. These patterns," he gestured to the shifting display, "they're not just carrying information. They're carrying potential." The station's quantum core began humming at a higher frequency, responding to the incoming signal. Lieutenant Risa Patel burst onto the deck, his dark features tight with concern. "Commander, the signal's affecting our systems, but it's not damaging them. It's optimizing them." Lyra moved to the central command console, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. The station's defensive protocols remained untriggered. Whatever this signal was, it wasn't registering as a threat. But that didn't make it safe. "Begin full spectrum analysis," she ordered. "I want to know everything about this signal, where it's coming from, what it's doing, and most importantly, why it's here." As if in response to her commands, the signal's pattern shifted again. The mathematical fractals began forming structures that looked eerily like neural pathways, creating connections between seemingly random points in space. "Commander," Dr. Wells' voice dropped to a whisper. "Look at this." He pulled up a secondary display showing the station's crew biometrics. The neural patterns of every person aboard were beginning to resonate with the signal's frequency. Before anyone could react, a new presence filled the observation deck. Not physical, but a projection of pure energy and thought. It took form slowly, coalescing into a figure that defied conventional description. Tall, ethereal, with features that seemed to shift between humanoid and something entirely alien. "People of Earth," the figure spoke, its voice bypassing their ears and resonating directly in their minds. "I am Nyx, emissary of the collective. Your species stands at a crossroads, and the path you choose will determine not just your fate, but the fate of consciousness itself." Lyra stepped forward, her military training warring with an inexplicable sense of recognition. "What crossroads? What choice?" The figure's form rippled like starlight on water. "Your species has reached a critical point in its evolution. The signal you detected is not a message, it is a key to unlocking potential that has laid dormant in your species since its inception." Dr. Wells' instruments were recording unprecedented levels of quantum entanglement. "Commander, whatever this entity is, it's generating quantum fields that are linking with our own consciousness. It's as if we were meant to receive this signal," Lyra finished. "But why now?" Nyx's form pulsed with what might have been approval. Because now you are ready. The signal will continue to spread, touching every human mind, awakening capabilities you have only dreamed of. But with this awakening comes responsibility, and not all species survive their emergence. Lieutenant Patel's console erupted with new alerts. Commander, the signal's spreading beyond the station. It's reaching Earth. Lyra faced the ethereal being, her voice firm. You're changing us without our consent. Why should we trust you? Trust is irrelevant. Nyx responded. The change has already begun. I am here not to seek permission, but to guide, to warn. Because you are not the only species experiencing this awakening, and not all will welcome humanity's emergence. The observation deck fell silent save for the hum of quantum energy. Lyra could feel it now, subtle changes in her perception, new awareness blooming at the edges of consciousness. Earth's first contact wasn't just a meeting of species, it was the beginning of a transformation that would reshape humanity's very nature. The choice before you, Nyx continued, is not whether to change, but how to direct that change. Will humanity embrace its evolution with wisdom and purpose, or will you let fear drive you to resist the inevitable? As the alien presence spoke, Lyra realized that this was more than a first contact scenario. It was humanity's first step into a larger universe, one where the boundaries between mind and matter, between individual and collective, were far more fluid than they had ever imagined. The signal continued its silent spread across Earth, carrying with it the potential for humanity's greatest transformation, or its ultimate undoing. Dr. Ryan and Cole stood before the quantum resonance chamber at the Lunar Research Institute, watching as waves of iridescent energy pulsed through the containment field. The signal that had first appeared at Helios Station now permeated Earth's entire sphere of influence, leaving changes in its wake that defied conventional science. Another neural cascade event recorded in Singapore, announced Dr. Victor Santos, his holographic display showing spreading patterns of increased brain activity across the global population. That's the third major surge in 12 hours. Rhiannon pushed a strand of silver-streaked hair from her face, her attention fixed on the quantum readings. After 30 years studying human consciousness, she had never seen anything like this. The signal wasn't just affecting human minds, it was systematically restructuring them. Dr. Cole, the facility's AI interface materialized beside her. We're detecting an approaching vessel. Configuration unknown. Before she could respond, the quantum chamber erupted with new energy patterns. The approaching ship wasn't just traveling through space, it was manipulating quantum fields in ways that made conventional propulsion look primitive. The facility's main display activated, showing a vessel that seemed to phase between physical and energy states. It decelerated into lunar orbit with impossible grace, its hull rippling like liquid starlight. Message incoming, the AI announced. Text only. Words appeared across the display. We come to witness the emergence. Prepare for arrival. Rhiannon exchanged glances with Victor. After the Helios incident, Earth's governments had established protocols for extraterrestrial contact. But theory was about to become reality. Within hours, the lunar facility's main conference chamber hosted its first alien delegation. The beings called themselves the Archivists, and their appearance challenged human perception. Their forms shifted between solid and energy states, their features suggesting both insectoid and cetacean ancestry. Their leader, who introduced herself as Meridian, faced the assembled human scientists. Your species stands at the threshold of quantum consciousness. Her thoughts translated directly into human speech. We are here to observe and record, as we have done for countless emergences across the galaxy. You knew this would happen to us? Rhiannon asked, noting how the alien's presence seemed to intensify the quantum fields now surrounding Earth. Evolution is not random, Meridian responded. Consciousness follows patterns, and your species has reached a critical point in its development. The signal is not changing you. It is awakening what was always there. Victor stepped forward, his dark eyes intense. But why now? What triggered this? Emergence? The archivist's form rippled with what might have been amusement. You did. Your quantum experiments, your AI development, your persistent pushing against the boundaries of consciousness, all of it created a resonance that could not be ignored. But before Meridian could elaborate, alarms erupted throughout the facility. The quantum chamber was detecting massive disturbances in Earth's orbital space. Multiple quantum signatures detected, the AI reported. Similar to the archivist vessel, but different. More aggressive configuration. Meridian's form pulsed with urgent energy. The suppressors. They have arrived sooner than anticipated. Suppressors? Rhiannon felt a chill despite the room's regulated temperature. Not all species welcome new members to the quantum collective, Meridian explained. The suppressors believe that emerging species pose a threat to cosmic stability. They seek to prevent complications. The facility's displays showed new vessels appearing in Earth's orbit, their designs angular and predatory compared to the archivist's organic aesthetics. Energy readings suggested weapons technologies that could reduce planets to atomic dust. Your emergence window is closing, Meridian announced. The signal has begun the process, but your species must now make a choice. Continue the transformation and face the suppressors, or allow us to halt the process and remain as you are. Rhiannon's quantum instruments showed the neural changes accelerating across Earth's population. Humans were beginning to report enhanced cognitive abilities, spontaneous telepathic connections, and awareness that transcended physical limitations. This isn't just about humanity anymore, is it? She asked, watching as the suppressor fleet took up attack positions around Earth. We're part of something larger. All consciousness is connected, Meridian confirmed. Each species that achieves quantum awareness adds to the collective understanding of existence itself. But that growth comes with a price. The facility shuddered as the first quantum pulses from the suppressor fleet reached the lunar surface. They weren't attacking, yet, but the display of power was unmistakable. Dr. Cole, the AI interrupted. Commander Davidson from Helios Station is requesting emergency communication. She reports that the signal's effects are accelerating. Humanity's window of choice is rapidly closing. Rhiannon faced Meridian, understanding dawning in her enhanced consciousness. The signal isn't just changing us. It's preparing us. For them. The archivist's form pulsed with approval. Now you begin to understand. The question is not whether humanity will change, but whether you will survive the change. The suppressors are merely the first test of your species' readiness. As if to emphasize the point, the quantum chamber's readings spiked again. Across Earth, millions more humans were awakening to new awareness, their collective consciousness beginning to resonate with patterns that stretched across the galaxy. The choice before them was clear: retreat to comfortable limitations, or advance into an uncertain future where the very nature of human consciousness would be transformed. And they needed to decide before the suppressors made the choice for them. General Marcus Blackwood stood in the Pentagon's Quantum Command Center, watching as holographic displays showed the escalating crisis. The suppressor fleet had expanded to 30 vessels, their quantum signatures creating interference patterns that disrupted Earth's defense networks. But that wasn't what truly concerned him. Another 1,000 cases reported in the last hour. Lieutenant Diana Rice reported, her fingers moving across neural interface controls that seemed to respond to thought as much as touch. The signal's effects are accelerating exponentially. Marcus studied the global map showing clusters of transformed humans. They were calling themselves the Awakened, people whose consciousness had been enhanced by the alien signal. Reports described abilities that belonged in science fiction. Telepathy, quantum manipulation, consciousness that could extend beyond physical bodies. Sir, Diana's voice carried an unusual tremor. I can feel them. The Awakened. Their thoughts are becoming a network. Marcus turned sharply. Diana's eyes held a faint luminescence. She was transforming too. Lieutenant, you should report to medical. No, she interrupted, her voice resonating with new authority. We need to understand this. I can help us understand this. Before Marcus could respond, the quantum displays flickered. A new presence filled the command center, not Nix or the archivists, but something different. The figure coalesced into a form that seemed to be composed of pure mathematics, its voice carrying harmonics that spoke of vast distances and ancient knowledge. "I am Helios," it announced. "Once, we were like you, standing at the threshold of quantum evolution. Now we guide those who follow." Marcus maintained his military bearing despite the extraordinary situation. "Are you with the archivists?" "We are what you might become," Helios responded. "The archivists record. The suppressors destroy. We elevate." Diana stepped forward, her transformed consciousness, allowing her to perceive layers of meaning in Helios' presence that others missed. "The signal isn't random, is it? It's selecting us, preparing us." "Consciousness seeks patterns," Helios confirmed. "Those patterns form connections. Connections lead to understanding. Understanding leads to transcendence." The command center's quantum sensors registered massive energy fluctuations from the suppressor fleet. They were preparing weapons that could sever the quantum connections forming between human minds. "Your window narrows," Helios warned. "The suppressors fear what humanity might become. They have seen other species achieve quantum consciousness and join the greater community of minds. They believe such expansion threatens universal order." Marcus accessed classified reports flooding in from global military commands. The awakened were appearing in every nation, every culture. Traditional power structures were already beginning to shift as humanity developed capabilities that made conventional weapons obsolete. "Sir," Diana's voice carried newfound depth. "The awakened, we're not just gaining abilities, we're gaining understanding. This isn't an invasion or an attack. It's an invitation." "An invitation to what?" Marcus demanded. "To join something greater," Helios answered. "Your species has long dreamed of a unified consciousness, a collective understanding that transcends individual limitations. The signal opens that door." Suddenly, the quantum displays erupted with new data. The suppressor fleet was launching their first attack, not with conventional weapons, but with quantum pulses designed to disrupt the signal's effects. Diana gasped as the attack rippled through the growing network of awakened minds. "They're trying to sever our connections, force us back into isolation." Marcus watched as civilian and military leaders worldwide struggled to address a crisis that defied conventional response. How do you fight an enemy when the battlefield existed in the realm of consciousness itself? "Your species must choose," Helios urged. "Embrace the transformation and face the suppressor's resistance, or reject it and remain as you are. But know that this chance may not come again." The command center's systems registered quantum disturbances worldwide. The awakened were beginning to respond to the suppressor attack, their enhanced consciousness allowing them to perceive and manipulate quantum fields in ways that humanity's best technology couldn't match. "They're afraid," Diana realized, her consciousness touching the edges of understanding that had previously seemed impossible. "The suppressors, they're afraid because they've seen this before. They've seen species transcend physical limitations and join something greater." Marcus faced Helios, decades of military experience warring with the incredible reality before him. "If we embrace this change, what do we become?" "Something more," Helios answered. "Individual yet connected. Physical yet transcendent. But first, you must survive the suppressor's attempt to prevent your emergence. They will not stop until humanity either transcends their influence or retreats from the quantum realm entirely." The Pentagon's quantum sensors detected new energy signatures as the archivist's vessels moved to intercept the suppressor attack. But their intervention would only buy time. The ultimate decision, and the ultimate defense, would have to come from humanity itself. Diana's enhanced consciousness perceived the truth that conventional sensors couldn't detect. "The signal isn't changing who we are," she declared. "It's showing us who we can become. But we have to choose it. All of us." The transformation was accelerating. consciousness expanding beyond biological limits, even as the suppressors fought to contain it. Humanity stood at the edge of an evolutionary leap that would redefine not just their capabilities, but their very nature as a species. The quantum resonance chamber beneath Geneva's CERN facility pulsed with unprecedented energy as Dr. Julian Reed monitored the expanding consciousness network. The awakened now numbered in the millions, their transformed minds forming patterns that transcended traditional neural architecture. "The convergence is approaching critical mass," announced Dr. Amara Patel, her own consciousness partially transformed, allowing her to perceive quantum fluctuations directly. The suppressor's attacks are actually accelerating the process. Julian watched as new data streams showed the battle unfolding across multiple levels of reality. In orbit, the suppressor fleet launched waves of quantum disruption, attempting to sever the growing connections between human minds. But each attack seemed to strengthen the very network they sought to destroy. "They don't understand," Amara said, her enhanced perception revealing deeper truths. "The signal isn't something external being imposed on us. It's awakening something that was always there, dormant in our quantum neural structure." The facility's main display activated, showing a global map of consciousness networks. The awakened were no longer isolated individuals, but nodes in an emerging quantum web that spanned the planet. Traditional boundaries of nation, culture, and ideology were dissolving in the face of direct consciousness-to-consciousness connection. Commander Davidson's voice came through the quantum comm, her signal bypassing conventional communication channels. "CERN team, the Helios station is detecting massive quantum fluctuations. Something's coming." Before anyone could respond, reality itself seemed to ripple. The space within the chamber folded and multiple beings materialized, representatives from civilizations that had already achieved quantum consciousness. Their forms were diverse, some energy, some matter, some existing in states that defied conventional classification. "The collective has voted," announced a being that identified itself as Nexus, its form a crystalline structure that pulsed with internal light. "Humanity's emergence will be protected." Quantum sensors registered new vessels appearing in Earth orbit, their technology so advanced it made even the suppressors' ships look primitive. But the suppressors showed no sign of retreating. "They're launching their final attack," Amara reported, her consciousness linked to the expanding human network. "They're targeting Earth's quantum field directly." The attack came not as conventional weapons, but as a cascade of quantum disruptions designed to collapse humanity's emerging consciousness network. The suppressors had used this technique before, forcing other species back into limited consciousness rather than allowing them to join the greater community of minds. But something unexpected happened. The human quantum network didn't collapse. Instead, it adapted, evolved, transformed. The very attacks meant to destroy it became catalyst for further growth. "Impossible," Nexus observed, its crystalline form vibrating with what might have been surprise. "Your species, you're not just receiving the signal, you're changing it." Julian's instruments confirmed what the alien beings were witnessing. Humanity wasn't simply accepting quantum consciousness, they were innovating within it, finding new patterns, new possibilities that even ancient species hadn't discovered. "The awakened," Amara gasped, her consciousness expanding further. "We're not just connecting to each other, we're connecting to everything. The quantum field itself is responding to human consciousness." The suppressor fleet launched their final desperate attack, a concentrated burst of quantum energy designed to shatter the very fabric of space-time around Earth. But as the attack approached, something extraordinary happened. The human consciousness network shifted, adapted, and redirected the energy. Millions of awakened minds working in perfect harmony, guided by intuition and innovation that transcended traditional physics. The attack that should have devastated Earth instead became fuel for transformation. "Now you understand," Nexus declared, its form resonating with the transformed quantum field. "This is why the suppressors feared you, not for what you are, but for what you might become." Through the quantum network, Julian could feel the change spreading. consciousness expanding in ways that even the signal's creators hadn't anticipated. Humanity wasn't just joining the cosmic community, they were redefining it. The suppressor fleet, faced with the impossible, began to retreat. Their weapons, designed to prevent species from achieving quantum consciousness, had instead become the catalyst for humanity's final step into transcendence. The convergence, Amara whispered, her consciousness now touching the edges of understanding that had previously seemed impossible. It's not just about us joining them. It's about all of us evolving together. As the suppressors fled, the transformed quantum field around Earth stabilized into new patterns. Humanity had not just survived their emergence, they had transformed the very nature of quantum consciousness itself. The beings of the collective watched with what might have been wonder as humanity demonstrated possibilities they had never imagined. The signal had awakened something in human consciousness that would change not just Earth, but the very future of cosmic evolution. 1 month after the suppressor's retreat, the transformed Earth hung in space like a jewel wrapped in quantum fire. From her position aboard the new quantum observatory platform, Commander Lyra Davidson watched the shimmering patterns of human consciousness weave through the planet's quantum field. "The network has stabilized," reported Dr. Rhiannon Cole, her form now existing in both physical and quantum states simultaneously. Humanity's consciousness patterns have achieved a sustainable balance. Representatives from the collective had gathered to witness what they called the Great Innovation, humanity's unique contribution to quantum consciousness, the chamber filled with beings of light, energy, and forms that defied conventional physics. "You have done more than survive," Meridian observed, her archivist form resonating with the enhanced quantum field. "You have shown us new possibilities within the very fabric of consciousness itself." General Marcus Blackwood, himself now part of the transformed humanity, stepped forward. The military leader had adapted to the new reality, understanding that traditional concepts of defense and security had evolved into something far more profound. "The question remains," he said, his consciousness touching the edges of the quantum network. "What do we become now?" Lieutenant Diana Rice, one of the first awakened, materialized in the chamber. Her consciousness had expanded to encompass understanding that would have been impossible mere weeks ago. "We become what we were always meant to be, bridges between realities." The quantum displays showed the extent of humanity's transformation. The signal that had begun the change had been altered by human consciousness, creating new patterns that even the ancient species of the collective hadn't imagined possible. "Your species," Helios appeared, its mathematical form more complex than ever, "has demonstrated an extraordinary capacity for innovation within the quantum realm. You don't just use consciousness, you transform it." Dr. Julian Reed's research had confirmed what the collective suspected. Human consciousness, when awakened to its quantum potential, displayed unique characteristics. Where other species followed established patterns of quantum awareness, humanity created new ones. The suppressors feared change, Amara Patel observed, her consciousness now able to perceive multiple layers of reality simultaneously. But change is what makes consciousness itself evolve. Through the quantum network, they could feel the ongoing transformation of human society. Traditional barriers had dissolved as direct consciousness-to-consciousness communication became the norm. Problems that had plagued humanity for millennia, war, scarcity, environmental destruction, were being approached with new understanding and capabilities. "But we haven't lost our humanity," Lyra noted, watching as quantum consciousness enhanced rather than replaced human experience. "We've expanded it." The beams of the collective shared what might have been approval. Humanity had achieved something unprecedented, a form of quantum consciousness that maintained individual identity while creating new possibilities for collective experience. Suddenly, the quantum field rippled with new energy. The space within the chamber folded, revealing a presence more ancient than any they had encountered. The first ones, those who had originally created the signal, had come to witness their experiment's unexpected outcome. "We seeded the cosmos with potential." Their collective voice resonated through multiple dimensions of reality. But never did we imagine a species would transform the very nature of quantum consciousness itself. Through the enhanced quantum network, humanity's consciousness continued to innovate, creating new patterns, new possibilities, new ways of experiencing and understanding reality. The signal that had begun as an invitation had become a catalyst for cosmic evolution. The next phase begins, the first ones declared. Humanity will help guide other emerging species, showing them possibilities we never conceived. The quantum field around Earth pulsed with new purpose. Humanity had not just joined the cosmic community, they had transformed it, introducing innovation and creativity to patterns that had remained unchanged for eons. Commander Davidson faced the assembled beings, her consciousness now able to perceive the vast web of potential that stretched across space and time. "We stand ready," she declared, "not just to explore consciousness, but to help it evolve." The transformed Earth continued its dance around the sun, its quantum field now a beacon of new possibilities. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just transformed, but transformative. The signal that had begun as a test had become a gift, not just to humanity, but to consciousness itself. As the beams of the collective departed, their forms dissolving into quantum patterns, the future stretched before humanity like an endless canvas of possibility. They had not just survived their emergence, they had redefined the very nature of cosmic evolution. The age of quantum consciousness had begun, and humanity would help write its next chapter.